Alright guys, so we already have some information on the new Shadowkin champions. We have about 12 of them. We're going to break them down real quick because I would assume that they're going to be released on Monday since the new fusion is going to start on Tuesday. So let's jump right in. First, let me mention tonight we're streaming 7:30 Eastern time and we're doing a gem giveaway on Twitch. So make sure you show up for the fun. Who knows, maybe we'll have some summons, right? And to that, I started a poll on whether or not I should summon for Countess Lix. I would love to have your vote. That's on the YouTube community tab. So make sure you participate. Now on to these broken champions. All right, the first one we got here is a Genzen. So I'm just going to quickly go over them this time. I'm not going to read everything, but we have turn meter control on the A1. We got turn meter control and AoE decreased defense on the A2, which can be booked to a 100% chance, so that's always good. On the A3, it looked a little bit like Rotos here. We're ignoring unkillable and shield buffs. We also filled the turn meter by 30%. 60% instead if the target still has 50% HP left. And on top of that, it decreases the steel parting and faded vengeance skills by 1 turn if this attack kills an enemy. So this guy can definitely snowball a little bit, again like Rotos. We also increase the champion speed by 10, resistance by 50 if there are fewer champions on this champion's team than the number of enemies on the enemy team. Very interesting. The next one is Yoshi the Drunkard. We already know that's the fusion champion. We saw the skills already. I will point this out, however, you can book this to a 100% chance, and you can also book this one to a 100% chance, but I'll quickly say this. Don't forget, he's one of the rare few support champions of this faction because most of them are attack champions. So if you want to have a team that's going to work for the faction crypts, you might want to consider doing the fusion. Then we have another broken one here, Jintaro. Extra turn on the A1 if you kill, still 100% turn meter on the A2, or reduce the cooldown of the A3 if the target is immune to turn meter controlling effects, so like Archmage Helmet and Clan Boss, anyone. The A3 is 60% decreased defense, 25% weaken, 100% chance without needing to book it, which is huge. And then on top of that, every 4th use of that skill is going to basically attack 5 times instead of 1. I think that's pretty broken. We have a passive for turn meter filling effects, 50% more effective on that champion, and an aura for 29% increased attack. The next one here also looks pretty amazing. It's a force support champion, though. We have AoE A1 with decreased accuracy. That's always interesting. We have for the A2, 75% chance of placing a decreased crit rate and a leech debuff, which can be booked to 100% chance. For the A3, we have 50% increased attack. Then you attack an enemy. If it's a crit hit, you get a 20% turn meter fill on your allies. And then for the passive, you basically have a revive if you kill an enemy, and you have a 50% chance of placing a fear debuff on all enemies for 1 turn whenever an ally is revived. The next one is Oboro here, which is a void attack champion. You have a decreased defense on the A1, which will turn into an AoE if that target has 4 or more debuffs. The A2 here is attack one enemy 2 times. Second hit has a 75% chance of transferring all debuffs from this champion to the target, or also stealing all buffs from the target when under a Veil or Perfect Veil buff. For the A3, you buff up with increased crit rate, increased crit damage, and then you attack one enemy, and you place a Perfect Veil buff on this champion for 2 turns if this attack is critical. That's also really interesting, where you buff up and you also attack at the same time, and then you place a Revive on Death buff on this champion for 3 turns when you get a Veil or Perfect Veil, therefore working with the A3, and you also have an attack aura of 33% for dungeons. Next one, Taragi the Frog. Magic HP, basically feels a little bit more like a support champion. We have decreased attack A1, AoE provoke, 50% chance on the A2. This can go up by an extra 5% for each debuff on the enemy team. The A3 is basically shield and ally protection on all the allies. We heal ourselves by 25% and place a 30% reflect damage on ourselves. The heal will increase though by 2.5% for each poison debuff on the enemy team. And then the passive kind of works with that, where when you get attacked, you have a 50% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff on the attacker for 2 turns, occurs once per hit. This might actually be really interesting for the clan boss. And we have a resistance aura by 40 for all battles. The next one is Chinoru, another attack type, but this one is Spirit. We have block buffs on the A1. For the A2, we have 3 random hits, which will place a weaken debuff. Then for the A3, remove all increased defense buffs. Then you attack all enemies. If you kill enemies, you reduce the cooldown of that same skill. Could snowball into dealing a whole lot of damage. Then we've got our first rare champion, support Void Fanatic here, which we do have a decreased defense on the A1, 30% or 60% depending on how many debuffs are on the target. The A2, 75% chance of transferring 2 random debuffs from this champion to the target while attacking. And then for the A3, increase attack and has also the chance to remove 1 random debuff from each ally. The next rare is Life Taker. This one is magic attack again, heal reduction on the A1, could be interesting for something. A2 is attack 1 enemy 3 times, you reduce the turn meter by 10% on each hit, and the third hit also has a chance at placing a decreased speed debuff. And then for the A3, place a veil and reflect damage on that same champion. The next rare is a force HP champion called a Blood Mask. Here we have the decreased turn meter by 10% on the A1, 50% chance placing a decreased speed on the A2, single target yet again, and then we have a chance, or 100% chance basically, placing a stun on the A3. Pretty interesting. And then we even have 2 uncommon champions, magic defense, which is basically, you know, nothing too crazy here. I suppose maybe this one's a little bit interesting because he attacks 1 enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing a 2.5% poison debuff for 2 turns. Makes me think a little bit of Outlaw Monk. So there you have it, guys. These are the new champions. Now let's go over the other changes, which is kind of limited to 2 major things here. The champion tag, so we've covered that before, and also new avatars for the Doom Tower, whether you complete on both the difficulties, which is pretty nice. I wonder if this is going to be retroactive. Also, the clan boss chest rewards will show all possible rewards on a tap. Kind of interesting. So there you have it, guys. That's the quick highlights of patch 3.40, which again I think is going to launch on Monday. Are you guys excited for it or not? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.